Heavenly Father this morning. Yes. Lord. The one that orchestrates everything that I am and everything that I do. Yes, Lord. Even my existence this morning. If it's not for him, Father, I wouldn't be standing before his people. So, Lord, this morning I'm grateful for that. Yes. Father, I'm so grateful for those who are in this atmosphere right now. Yes, Lord. Just giving their all to you and allowing you to order their steps. Father, this morning, we ask that you just be in the midst. Father, oh yeah, let them see. Yeah. But let them hear you. Yes, Lord. In the name of Jesus. In the name of Jesus. Amen. Amen. For those who know me, I'm kind of silly. Silly guy. Always clown, and I'm just a silly guy. I don't worry about that. We're going to still have a word this morning. I don't worry about that. Right, brother? I'm a silly guy because I talk loud anyway. But I'm so grateful to my pastor in his absence this morning and my first lady. Because it's just odd not to see them in here. Yes. On a Sunday morning, especially at the 11 o'clock hour. But I'm also grateful that he has taught his deacons here enough to where he can be at another engagement and church still takes place at his own church. That's right. I'm grateful for that. Amen. Because that lets his congregation know that teaching is going on at Restoration Baptist Church. Amen. So I'm grateful for that in his absence. To the congregation and to all that came out to listen this morning, I'm grateful. Amen. Now, I'm not going to be before you long, but I hope this word changed direction for somebody here this morning. Amen. Amen. If you would turn to Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Amen. That's Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. When we get there, you know, this is a little favorite thing that I do. When you get there, say, I'm part. Say, I'm part. I'm part. Like I say, when you get there, say, I'm part. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Just stand briefly in reference to the word. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. So have we all part? Amen. All right. We'll read it together. Amen. Amen. All right, let's read.
Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. Amen.
This, being one of my favorite scriptures, leads me to my topic this morning, which is simply the word choice. Say choice. Choice. Now, choice is defined as it's a noun. It's defined as an act of selecting or making a decision when faced with two or more possibilities. Now, some connecting synonyms to that word is options and alternatives. Amen? Now, when you look at yourself and your life, and then you state the position in life as it is right now, it is where it is because of the choices that were made in your life thus far. Amen? Amen. You're where you are because of the choices that you made in your life thus far. Now, I don't know about you, but if I were to have another chance at some of the results of my choices that I've made in my lifetime, it certainly would be some different choices. We all agree to that?
That's right. Amen.
Now, walk with me for just a few minutes, and let's see if there's some kind of connection with each one of us here this morning. In the existing world we now live in, there is a constant battle with standards and what's moral and what's non-moral.
Yeah. All right.
Now, moral means to be concerned with principles of right and wrong behavior and the goodness or badness of human character.
Yes.
Holding or manifesting high principles for proper conduct. That's moral. Okay, now non-moral simply means not holding or manifesting moral principles. Amen? Now, one might ask, what are some things that lead you to handling matters in your own understanding? Could it be frustration? Or maybe it could be arrogance. Or it could be peer pressure. Maybe it could be non-trusting.
All right.
Or could it be that you just don't have patience? In all these words, the connecting word in it is choice.
Right.
Amen?
Amen.
Right.
Three things. I won't be before you long. I'm so grateful that our God thought enough of us that he gave us the gift of choice. Now, someone may not think it is a gift, but I would then say to that person, what if there was no choice at all?
Come on out.
What would this world be like? Do this for me. Do this for me. Say circumstances.
Circumstances.
Now, that means a fact or condition connected with or relevant to an event or action. So what am I saying to you? What am I saying to you? Are there not circumstances in every choice that we make in our lives?
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
Whether it's a good choice or if it's a bad choice.
Yeah, right.
There are circumstances. Let me ask you this. Has anyone been here before? Taking matters into their own hands without first using God's instructions in Proverbs 3, 5, and 6.
Right.
In that blueprint that he wrote for us. Before making a choice, and then the circumstances of that choice ends up in a bad result. It is then and only then we look for God to enter into the equation to bail us out of the choice that we made. Anybody been there?
Amen.
You made a choice and it turned out to be bad, and then all of a sudden you want to reach and call and ask him to bail you out. But you didn't ask him to be there when you made the choice.
Right.
You did it on your own. Now, has anybody been here before? Same scenario. But the results were successful. We have to be careful about praising ourselves and not giving God his proper reverence.
That's right.
Sometimes we get too greedy for our britches. We think that we did something and we really didn't do it. Now, we tend to hide behind our choices and we use excuses for our miscues in life. We fail to look truthfully at the true source, ourselves. To look at ourselves.
Yes.
I think we pay attention to ourselves. If you really look at yourself, you'll really understand why some things are taking place in your life. Now, as children, most parents try to teach the basic foundation of life, going from childhood to adulthood. They try to instill in us that your choices could be a huge factor in where you would be later on in life.
That's right.
Their experiences with failure or success was passed on so that their children would not have to endure the same heartaches of failure, and they would be prepared on how to handle success. Now, God also gave us a foundation when he gave us the 10 Commandments. And with that, he gave us the choice to follow them also. So whether we are operating in the carnal mindset or in the spiritual mindset, are you happy with the choices that you've made thus far in life, or are you making in life? There's a story in the Bible that the particular character, his choice was costly in the journey that he traveled.
All right.
There's a story in the Bible that this particular character's choice was costly in the journey he traveled. The character I'm speaking of this morning is Moses. That's in Exodus. Moses in Exodus. My first word this morning, say possible.
Possible.
Possible means able to be done within the power or capacity of someone or something. Now, the synonym for that is feasible, or practical, or viable, attainable, or doable. Now, Moses allowed God to direct his path, and he trusted in God, and he acknowledged him. That was the reason that it was made possible that he could lead so many people from Egypt to Mount Sinai.
That's right.
You're right.
So, what am I saying to you this morning? I'm saying that when the most difficult situations come upon us in life, remember to resort to that Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Then you won't make a choice.
That's right.
God can make a way out of no way. God can make a way out of no way, y'all. Now, Moses' journey continued through the wilderness. But it didn't come without opposition.
That's right.
Just like in life for us. Moses had to overcome some oppositions also, which brings me to my second word. Say probable.
Probable.
Probable. That means likely to be the case of, or to happen. Odds on, expected, anticipated, predictable, or foreseeable. Moses' opposition was Pharaoh. Pharaoh was a king who was enticed. Just listen to a little radio station that every time he got to a word, he say, put a pin on it.
Yeah.
Put a pin on it. Some of you may be familiar with Willis Johnson. He said, put a pin on it was something that just jumped out at you. He was enticed. She told Moses after the death of their son, and she rubbed in Moses' face about Pharaoh's triumph over Moses, and it angered him and caused him to make a choice that would not benefit Pharaoh, would not benefit him. Moses continued in his lane and to lead God's people in not knowing that there was an angry Pharaoh about to descend upon him and God's people and seek and kill them. Again, God demonstrated his mighty powers through Moses and eliminated Pharaoh's entire army. Now, we have to really give attention to choices that we make in life. It's important that your choice, if not the right one, can invite an unworthy opposition into our lives. Anybody know Satan? Well, he's still seeking to devour.
That's right.
And destroy. So at some point in life, it is probable that you will have dealings with him. Amen? The last thing I want to say, and look at this correlation between the journey of Moses and your own journey thus far, after all the miracles that the people saw along the side of Moses. Have you not seen miracles in your own life?
Yes, yes.
See, a lot of people we may not visualize the sea opening like some of the people saw that day. The fire coming out of the ground in a tornado form.
Yes.
That they saw in that day. But miracles still happen in this day.
Yes.
We just got to be able to see the miracle.
Yes.
Because we kind of blind ourselves and put things that change our vision and we're asking for things and God is actually making them happen, but you can't, how they say it, you can't see the forest for the trees.
That's right. You say that now.
You can't see the forest for the trees. Yeah. So we got to be able to see what God is doing. Moses may have been seen out front, but the protection of the people was truly orchestrated by God himself.
That's right. That's right.
Even after the commandments were etched into the rocks and presented to his people, God still gifted people with choice.
Yeah.
He even gave Moses a final choice.
Yeah.
Which leads me to my final word this morning. Say recognition. Recognition, the action or process of recognizing or being recognized in a particular. And the synonym, identification, recollection, or remembrance. Moses had done everything asked of him by God. Moses also developed a slightness of arrogance. You see, with success, we have a tendency to lose focus on God.
There you go.
Say that again. With success, let a lot of stuff go good for you. And you have no issues in your house for a while. None of that stuff is going on. You have a tendency to lose sight of who actually makes those things happen at you.
Speak.
You have to be careful of sliding in that direction. Remember, it's a choice.
Yes.
Say turning point. Turning point. Moses was commanded to strike the rock so that the water would flow to God's people, and it did so when he struck the rock, and it flowed abundantly. Say he made the right choice.
He made the right
He made the right choice right there. Now, has God ever told you something and you reap the benefits of that choice? Because you made the right choice. Amen? Okay, later on, God tells Moses to speak to the rock. And that was to demonstrate two things. Number one, by letting the people see the water pour from the rock after he spoke to the rock, it would solidify the minds of his people that there is a God.
Yeah.
This man spoke to a rock and it started pouring out water. Ain't no man do that.
That's right.
It's got to be a God. That's what that was. It was to solidify that.
Yeah.
And number two, it was to let the people know that Moses, this is big. Moses was just simply a vessel.
That's right.
Say, I'm a vessel. That's all we are. We're just vessels. That's all we are. We're just vessels. Don't think that you're more than just a vessel. Amen? Moses' choice to strike the rock again instead of obeying God's command changed his destiny.
Yes, it did.
He was not awarded to enter the promised land.
That's right.
Amen?
Amen.
My final point to you this morning. Moses got caught up. And we sometimes do the same thing in life.
Right.
He saw himself more than he was, just a vessel. He saw himself more than that. And also, that's all we are, just vessels. He did not give proper recognition to the one that deserved the recognition, which was God.
That's right.
Amen?
Amen.
So don't get yourself caught up. Don't get caught up in your life.
Amen.
That you forget to God first.
Yes.
And put him first in all that you do. Amen.
Yes.
Let your choice be the right choice.
Yes.
Amen.
God bless you.
Amen.
That was a wonderful message from my deacon brother. That's doing that. Our pastor and the things that we're teaching us, it has trickled down to us, and we've been growing in Christ. There's a time that the word has moved you, something that may be pricking at your spirit has moved you. The doors of the church are now open.